Hey everyone, welcome. We are here to share, or I am here to share with all of you. We have a bunch of people live, but this is also going to be a recording for you, just to share with you how all of this works and what this is that we're talking about. There's a lot of people out there right now that have been sharing about what I'm going to be sharing with you tonight, and people are curious, right? It's been growing really fast, and what I mean by that is we've had a 3,000% growth rate since the inception of this product, which is it's making people like, what's happening? Like they're turning their necks towards us, right? We always joke it's breaking necks. So they're looking to see what it is that we have. So we do this every Tuesday and Thursday. You can come on and, we change the days every once in a while, but patchzooms.com. You can go to patchedu.com and it shows the Zoom schedule there. So you can always look at that and see kind of if we've changed. We sort of changed in the summer and then in the fall just to kind of accommodate for people's schedules. But we're talking about LifeWave X39 specifically. So just to kind of give you a quick disclaimer, this is for educational purposes only. I am a LifeWave brand partner. I'm also a naturopath. So for me, I use this in my practice. But I'm not, this is not to help people cure or treat anything that you've got going on. These are not medical devices. These are specific technology that helps your body do something phenomenal. So we just want you to always remember that whenever anybody's recommending any health changes, you should always just check with your practitioner, whether that's a naturopath or a holistic practitioner or your medical doctor. Okay, so we're going to dive right in. And we're going to talk about cellular decline. Now, maybe some of you are like, oh no, science. Like, I don't want to get into a science class. This is not that. Just think back. Can you remember back when you were a kid, even? You were invincible. But what about when you were in your 20s? You felt good. Like, you didn't need anything. You talk to a 20-year-old today, and they just think they got the world buttoned up. It's just different when you're in your 20s because you heal faster, you have so much energy, you feel amazing. When you get into your 30s, I think that's when I remember thinking, oh, I feel like I'm getting a little older, but I still felt great. The reason for this is because in your 30s, you actually start the decline of this very interesting peptide called GHKCU. It actually declines by 60%. So you'd think, shouldn't I feel it a lot then? Kind of. It's sort of when gray hair starts, like in your first gray hair started, or you started feeling just tired, more tired. You couldn't stay up all night and party and then go up, the next day. Like it was just different. We just started feeling it. That's a 60%, decline in this specific peptide. But what happens is, like, I'm 51. I'm almost 52. I turned 52 in January, so I got a little less than a half a year to go. And that's like a 75% decline. So if you actually look at the studies on this, by the time you're in your 50s, you have a decline of GHKCU by 75%. In your 60s, it just tanks. You see that it's like snowballs to 90% reduction. So this is the interesting thing that people are like, well, I don't understand. What are you even talking about? GHKCU is a specific peptide, was discovered in 1973 by this gentleman, and Dr. Lauren Picard has since passed away, but he has done groundbreaking work on GHKCU, specifically in the world of like skin health and regeneration. So he was looking at it from a topical perspective. As many scientists were doing back in the 70s and 80s, they were really looking at how do we synthetically create this peptide so that we could then market it, mass produce it, right? This is what science does, right? When it comes to your body, though, the most interesting thing is this decline. It's human GHKCU. This is what's already in your body. So the goal here would be not to put it in a jar and somehow slather it on or even take it internally, right? Some people are taking peptide supplements. They don't work the way that you think they do because your digestive system breaks them down and then uses those amino acids however they want to. In the case of GHKCU, people are noticing this and using them as injections or IV or even consumables. It doesn't work that way. Okay, your body won't recognize it. They're synthetic. Maybe you'll have a little bit of an efficacy bump, but generally speaking, your body doesn't recognize synthetic. It's why, say, a doctor might say you need vitamin D. So rather than telling you to go into the sunshine, right? We know that when you get some sun, that's natural phototherapy. God designed the sun rays to be a specific wavelength. When it hits the dermis of our skin, it signals our mitochondria to get to work, to convert cholesterol, get things moving to create vitamin D. Now, we know that vitamin D that your body produces, human vitamin D is 100% bioavailable. That means your body knows what it is and knows what to use it for. When you take a synthetic version, doctors are like, well, you need a lot. Take a lot. 50,000 IU, right? Generally, it's 1,000, 2,000 IU, but they're like overdosing you because your body just gets rid of it. It doesn't recognize it. So we know that in the case of just simple understanding of what phototherapy is, and that's the question is like, okay, when I eat foods, I get these amino acids. I get the things that are in GHKCU. Okay, it's not making GHKCU because your body has declined in making GHKCU as you age. But you have it there. You have glycine, histidine, lysine, and copper. These are three amino acids and a trace mineral that your body needs. And like I said, you get these things in the foods that you eat. But in order to produce human GHKCU, this was the head scratcher. This is the thing that David Schmidt, the founder and owner of LifeWave, studied for like tons. I mean, it was a lot. It was a decade of study trying to understand stem cell regeneration specifically. So if you look at his years of study, there's a Netflix documentary coming out on him this year, and it's very fascinating to understand that his whole life was, is dedicated to figuring out this kind of code, this genetic code for why we age and how the GHKCU fits into that. Because there's hundreds of studies on GHKCU and the efficacy of if you can, that's the question. If you can increase human GHKCU, what happens? Okay, so let's just kind of bounce through a couple things so you can understand what GHKCU does. And remember, not taking it from some synthetic, but internal endogenous copper peptide, GHKCU. So these are some potential benefits, and these are all well documented. Okay, you can go on patchedu.com and link through to a bunch of studies. You can just go on to the internet and say, show me studies on GHKCU. There's a ton of them. When you start to understand the mechanism at which what we have works, it starts at the mitochondrial level. And that's how most things work when it's phototherapy. Okay. So we'll get into how this works in just a minute. But what has been proven over and over and over again is that if you can increase human GHKCU in the body, it will automatically increase healthy, younger cells. Okay, this is very important to understand because when you have a lot of healthy younger cells, you get a lot of extra benefits. These are all benefits of increasing GHKCU. So the question you keep having to ask yourself right now is, how can I increase GHKCU? Okay, you're going to have more strength, more stamina, better mobility, cognition, amazing, energy levels, moods, just even out those moods, feel better. Hormones, ladies, this is a big one. Skin smoothing, ladies, another big one. It helps with vision, helps support gum health, digestive health. So we have to remember if you have a significant increase in younger, healthier cells, what ends up happening is you get a younger, healthier you. Okay, so this is where it gets interesting. So the question goes back to, what can you do to increase human GHKCU? Now, first of all, you need the ingredients. You need these ingredients. You need glycine, histidine, lysine, and copper. So there's a big key here. Some of you got to listen. Ready for your thinking caps, your hearing caps? Listen. Some of you are over consuming zinc. I want you to go into your pantry or wherever you keep your supplements and just look at them all. Because of COVID and all of the hair loss people had and their immune system issues, we have this plethora of supplement companies that have just decided to infuse all their supplements with zinc. You only need about 9 milligrams for women and maybe 10 to 15 for men. You don't need much. And you take that at night, not in the day, not in the morning. Okay, now you can take small amounts in the morning. So there are some supplements that have small amounts of zinc, and small amounts of zinc actually do help your body to absorb copper properly. But in excess amounts, so if you're at 25, 30, 40, 50 milligrams of zinc, which some of you are, if you add up all your supplements, you will actually effectively block your body's absorbing copper. It won't absorb copper. Also, if you're drinking a lot of soda pop, like I mean a lot, That can, a lot of caffeine. That can also block the absorption of copper as well. Same with vitamin C if you're overdoing vitamin C, right? There's a couple things it's not that it's bad, it's that you just have to be careful about overdoing it because it's going to fight for absorption in your gut. So this is one of the things that I've found in my own practice to be the key to helping people. Obviously, vegans and vegetarians are at a disadvantage here because they don't get enough glycine and lysine. They will get histidine, but they might need to take a supplement, something that is a vegan-based glycine, lysine, amino acid complex, but also copper. So we do have a supplement called Celergize that actually answers this. And some of you are like, but wait, Jen, there's some zinc in there. Right. There's the right amount in there to help it absorb. It's not going to block. Okay. So remember, if you're upwards of lots, like if you have 25 or more, just be careful about that. Okay. So why is this important? If you have these ingredients, okay, we want to consider something real quick. And this is real important for you guys to hear for me here. When your body is trying to make something, okay, if you're trying to figure out a way to get your body to make something, because remember, you already have these ingredients, your body's just not functioning properly. It's not making it. So that means your cellular health is declining, and that's why you're aging. So if we could get something that could signal your body to combine these elements, what it would be like a master chef screaming at your body saying, make GHKCU, combine glycine, histidine, lysine, and copper, make more, make more, make more. But what if you ran out of an element, right? If you guys were in a pie factory and all you made was apple pie all day long, and all of a sudden the foreman's like, we ran out of apples. You're like, well, I guess we can't make apple pie anymore. So it's the same thing with this. Now, I need you to hear me again when I say my husband was on this for 18 months. And he's since been on it for 2.5 years, right? But like for the first 18 months, his health was steadily declining and we couldn't figure out why. And he's sick. He was sick. He killed his pancreas. He drank like, I don't know, upwards of 15 to 20 Dr. Peppers and Coca-Colas per day. I mean, it was aggressive. And you get this addiction, and then you get diabetic ketoacidosis, and it starts eating your body, and it got real bad. He got on insulin. He was on all sorts of medications. He didn't want to do those medications, but he was dying. And when I say he was dying, it was bad. Okay, so he was off the charts A1Cs, like literally off the charts on his blood sugar reading, literally off the charts. Like there's no reading for it. It just says high. A1Cs were, I don't know, 15, 16. He was reading above 500 on his glucose. It was insane. So his body then went into basically shock. His doctors were all very, very surprised he didn't die. He lived this way for years, and finally, like, was passing out. Okay, so like my son had to call 911 multiple times. It was not good. I wasn't home, so when I came home, I rushed him to the emergency, and they did a test on him, which this I'm like, why didn't you do this before? Was a copper. I don't know why. I didn't order that. They did. I don't know why they ordered the copper test, but they freaked out. And they were like, he is severely, severely low on copper. And I was like, oh, that's fine. It's like the patches are using it, right? I kept thinking, and I was like, oh, wait, no. This is the problem. He didn't have any copper. So that's why nothing was working. We got him on a very simple copper supplement. Within 3.5 months, it was like a 180 degrees shift. Like he went from being anorexic, spine completely out of line. He lost 2 inches of height. His whole body was eating himself. He had what's called wasting syndrome. You don't come back from that. I was expecting him to die at any moment. I am not over exaggerating this. Anytime I didn't hear him or he was supposed to be upstairs because we were going to bed and he didn't come, I'm like, he's dead. Literally, I mean, I was freaking out for an entire year and a half, thinking this man is toast. Like I'm gonna be a widow, and it was awful. It was an awful. It was like the height of using this product, being excited, but at the same time watching my husband die. It was awful, you guys. And he's my best friend. I've loved this boy since we were in the 8th grade. We started dating in high school. We've been together forever. Okay, 1992 is when we started dating. So a part of it to me is like, what do you do with that? And it was just so crazy to see, you guys. He had complete brain fog. I mean, he sat on the couch pretty much his whole time that he was sick. Nobody really knew about it because he's very private. He probably doesn't like that I share this now, but part of the thing is, I mean, I remember taking a picture of him and he I just had to like document it, and I felt so bad because the back of him, he looked like a skeleton. I deleted it, and I was telling him yesterday, I'm like, I kind of wish I didn't delete that because it was crazy how skinny he was. And one of the things that was so wild to me was just that copper element. I got that copper element fixed, and it was like all of a sudden he's, excuse me, he's fine. His brain fog went away. 3.5 months, his weight came back. I watched it like miraculous. And all the doctors scratching their heads like he should have been dead. Like we were all waiting for him to die. There was no prognosis, nothing that they could do for him. Nobody had anything that they could do for him. And that is the power of making sure you have the right ingredients in your body. So this is a huge thing to help you guys understand that, these will work for you. And we haven't even gotten into what they are. I mean, you saw a little bit about them, but these will work for you if you make sure you have the right ingredients. Now, 97% of you do have the right ingredients. We've just noticed some of you guys are really unhealthy. And what I mean by that is you just have bad diets, right? So we just want to be aware of that as well. But just know that these are the ingredients. So how do you get those? Meat and eggs. So if you eat meat and eggs, you're fine. Just look at that copper and maybe take a copper supplement in the morning, and put your zinc at night. But I want you to think this through. If you drank some red wine, which I don't recommend, I'm not recommending this, but you've maybe heard of this, that resveratrol will reset two genes, which is mind blowing. People are like, what? This is why you should be drinking red wine and eating berries. You don't need to do that. Because, yes, while it's groundbreaking for something like resveratrol to reset two genes, what having more human GHKCU in your body does, it resets 4,192 genes. And again, this is documented and proven. This is not through our company. This is independent studies about this, okay? Not about our product, but about GHKCU. When you increase human GHKCU, that's why you have all those benefits. So remember, what if you had a product that could do this for you, that could be the master chef screaming at your body, telling you to combine these elements and create more? I want to introduce you to this hero product. This is the product that has put LifeWave on the map. We've been in business for 21 years, and most of you have never even heard of this company. Seriously, it's because it was like whatever until this came out. And this is just like mind-boggling to everyone because it works. It is clinically proven to significantly increase endogenous GHKCU. That's younger, healthier cells. Okay, so this is such an easy product. It's like if you can put on a sticker, you can use this. They're so small, and I usually have one around here. It's on my belly right now, so I'm gonna pull it off. So I wear these with a little sticker on it because I like to know what this is. This has my X39 sticker on it. But I'm going to tell you right now, like they're just so small. It's the size of a quarter. But here's the deal. They're patented. So no one else has this. None. This is technology that is patented. And I'm going to tell you right now, you just aren't going to find this anywhere else. And this is an important distinction to make, okay? This is also proven, and it's not just proven a little bit, it's proven a lot of it. And there's more studies coming out, okay? So remember, this came out in 2018 for pre-launch, but 2019 was when it was actually launched. And then what happened in 2019? Most of the studies that were underway had to get halted. They've now been going through them again. Studies take a lot of time, but we have to remember that if we can understand the research for GHKCU and then look at the research that shows that this actually works to increase GHKCU, that's the point, okay? That's all you need to know. I do not need to know that the sun works. I know the sun works. I also don't need to know that this light works. All I know is that if I turn off on that switch behind me, what happens? The light turns on, or the blender turns on, or whatever the light switch works for, that's what it works for. Okay? So this patch is a switch. It literally signals your body to increase endogenous, that's human, GHKCU. How does it do that? Through infrared light. So when I put this on the dermis of my skin, now this little fabric disc that's in there that is embedded with little nanoparticle amino acids and salts. Okay, so it's amino acids and salts for the white patches. For the tan patches, there's only a couple patches we have that has a secondary patch, which we don't even need to talk about tonight. but that would be the sugar. That's actually molasses. But just know this doesn't have sugar in it. This has salt and amino acid. This has, and that breaks down. So these aren't like hard rock crystals. These are scientifically produced little tiny mirrors. And those mirrors are reflecting my infrared light back onto the dermis of my skin. So remember, when the sun hits your skin, it's a specific signal that triggers your mitochondria to go ahead and go to work to signal your body to do what? Increase vitamin D. That's turning on something specific on, let's say it's the left switch and we're going to turn on something different. Well, for this case, your infrared light is hitting these little tiny mirrors in this patch. It's non-transdermal, so nothing goes into your body except for your own infrared light to give you all those benefits. Remember, it starts with the mitochondria and then it starts increasing cells like crazy, healthy cells, not bad cells. So then you get all those really great benefits. And remember, here's the thing. I don't know where those healthy younger cells are going to go to work, but I do know it's going to go to work where most critical first. So if you're like, well, I want it to work on my skin, and your cells are like, nope, 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 you've got a heart issue that you didn't know about. We're going to go there first. I think you'd be better off if they went there first, right? So we have what's called a health tracker on Patch EDU. Patchedu.com is a free site just for education. You don't buy patches there. You go to the person who shared this with you to buy your patches. But this is you can download this and then just kind of track what's going on. You basically take this little sticker and you put it either behind your neck, basically at that spine bump. That's where your shoulder blades hit your spine, so it's a little lower than the back of your neck. It's a little lower there, and you're going to go ahead and either do that or below your navel. And the reason that we do below the navel or behind the neck there is because there's a nerve bundle there. It just gives you better overall systemic support. You can put it anywhere though, so that's really up to you. This will work anywhere, but I do like to use these nerve bundle locations because it's a little bit better. Now, I want you to commit to a minimum of 6 to 12 months, but what happens if you stop? You're going to turn into a pumpkin? Yeah, probably. Okay, you're not going to turn into a pumpkin, but what's going to happen is this. You're going to start rapidly aging again. It has about a 2-week halo effect. So you won't feel anything. Like my mom ran out of patches and I forgot to send them to her. And I'm like, sorry, let me get them to you. And I was traveling and then I sent them to her. So she was out of patches for about a week. And I said, you're probably fine. You were fine. All that happens is you just start feeling like your achiness coming back. You just start feeling what you had before, some of the symptoms, because your body starts to rapidly decline again. That's just how aging works. What this is doing is keeping your cells up high, right? And she was like, oh, yeah, that's interesting because I kind of started feeling a little achy. Like when I would get out of bed, she started feeling all that age again. So just know that this is how it works. And again, like I said, this is a 3,000% growth rate. So you can't tell me that's placebo effect. You don't have placebo effect on a product that has a growth rate this high. This isn't a growth rate because we're all such great salespeople. We're not, right? This is like, here, try the patch. You guys, when somebody asks me about this, I'm like, go to Patch EDU and watch the 4-minute video. If they don't have 4 minutes, I don't have time to explain this to them. Because then I start fumbling. I start saying all the stupid stuff of like, oh, stem cells and this. And it's like, wait a minute. I just confused them and lost them. I'm like, you're busy. I'm busy. Go watch the 4-minute video. There's no way I'm going to get into training people on the spot. That's just dumb. Okay. I'm going to point them to the tools, watch the 4-minute video, watch the 2-minute LifeWave video. I mean, do you have 6 minutes? I don't know. This is no way we're growing this fast if this thing didn't work. Okay. It does work. It's because it's unique, it's patented, and it's proven. Okay. And if you're going to use it for 6 to 12 months, don't think that's it. You don't just stop hydrating. You got to keep hydrating. It's like you get a new car and you're like, okay, I filled it up with gas. It's running. It's got all this power. Great. I don't need to fill it up again. No, you do. You need it. And then you need to give it an oil change every 5,000 miles or whatever it is for your car. Let's say you just didn't do that. Well, it's just going to die. Okay. This is like every day, 12 hours on is your oil change. 12 hours on and then 12 hours off. And it's got to be during the day. You wear it for 12 hours during the day. And then at night, your body goes through this great rhythm of healing and rejuvenation. You need that without this patch on. There's other patches that you can wear at night if you want to, but this is the patch that you wear during the day. And I know a lot of people have taught you that you could wear it at any time, but realistically, if we actually look at the science behind how this was developed to work with your rhythms and your hydration and your sleep patterns, you need to wear this during the day. If you're too tired during the day, it's because you're low on potassium or you don't have proper electrolytes. There's always a reason, there's always an actual user error that we come across where I'm like, oh, that's why you're having those issues, right? You put on a patch first time ever and you feel like, whoa, I'm on a boat. Well, you didn't hydrate. Drink 5 ounces of water before you apply a patch. And then you have to keep drinking water throughout the day. You have to stay hydrated, okay? It's very important. Now, our company is the fastest growing company in the world in direct sales the last 2 years in a row. We have over 200 patents and 80 studies on the patches. I want you to understand something that towards the end of this year, we are going to be upwards of 250 patents. This is David Schmidt. He's the brainchild of this company. And we have products that are nobody else has. They're patented. Okay, so this makes it very interesting because that allows you, as somebody who says, I want to work from home, I want to be able to make some extra income, this is attached to it. And the reason that he did this was because he understood the value of network marketing. Is, they've developed a very simple and professional plan, but it has massive momentum. Okay, so this is not like a normal traditional like Tupperware sales, right? This is not that. You got a lot of practitioners like myself involved in this. You've got a lot of people really understanding the value of this, but just know that this is not considered what's called a Me Too product. This is something that no one else has. And I already told you this, like, we've got all these different things with patents and 3,000% growth rate, but there aren't any copycat products. Those are called like Me Too. That means, oh yeah, we have the supplement and you have the same supplement, but here's why ours is better, right? Those are what people are always fighting in the space for. That's not this. This is something no one else has. So this creates this opportunity for you that's very simple. The way that the strategy is very simple and you can do it, right? So if we were just to look at the 2024 earnings disclosure, I'm going to pull out the active brand partners just so you can get an idea for what this looks like. And look at the average months to achieve the top rank. So just go all the way to the bottom, senior presidential director, that's the top rank. That's what I am. I got there in about 4.5 months. Look at that, how many months it achieves that. Okay, so I know people who made it in 2.5 days. I know people who made it in a month or two. It's unusual. So just know like the average is 27 months. Now that's a little over 2 years. That's a pretty nice average. Like if you think that through, if you put in 2 years of work and the average is $506,000, I mean, this is average. Okay, so I want you to think that through. Like, is that exciting to you? Could you sit there and say, at my job now, my just over broke, my job, could I make $500,000 in income that continues to come in, right? This isn't dependent on you having parties or anything like that, okay? This is like you've built the structure, you've built your teams. Would you be real excited about that? Or is that like, it's like, come on. Now, when I've interviewed people, because for me, full-time work is usually more than full-time work because I'm a little bit nutty and I like to work. I have a lot of fun helping people. But I've asked, that's why if you like to work and you have a good work ethic and you want to work more hours, like I did, like a lunatic, I think I was at 80 hours a week at one point. That's your running to rank. I was running to rank. I made it in 4.5 months. Great. You can truncate that. But the average person that it took 27 months, do you want to know how many hours a week they worked? I've done the math. I've actually asked a lot of them to find out like who ranked that, about how many hours. Most of them had other jobs. Most of them worked around 20 hours a week. That is considered full time in here. Now again, everybody's different. It depends on your network. It depends on, what you've done, but I want you to understand that this is a potential major game changer for you, your family, for your future family, for your ability to pass this down, right? So this is how you do this. You're working with two teams, a right and a left team, that's it. And you just need to start with finding your core four builders. So you're finding two people that you would put on your right team and two people that you would have put on your left team that are really wanting to do this with you. Okay. And we have a very easy 3-step onboarding system. You just plug them in, you share X39, you follow up with them, you invite them to something like this. There's different ways to kind of like help them see the potential of what they want to do. But we have this extraordinarily simple onboarding system. This is, you can get this through the patch manual. I usually, oh, here it is. It's usually around me somewhere, but this patch manual has all of this in there. And we actually have a brand new patch playbook. So this is an easier, just book to follow. So it's just for brand partners. So if you are looking for something less expensive and you can just kind of get started and get rolling and understand the compensation plan and all that, this is in there. So that makes it really easy. So my question for you though is like, what is your dream life? I don't know what yours is. I know what mine is. I think the best thing in this 32 years, I've been in this industry for 32 years. I love this industry. I also am I've written over 80 books. I have 10 bestsellers on Amazon. I'm a naturopath. I'm an herbalist. I've got a lot of degrees under my belt. I help a lot of people. I just enjoy helping people. But what is my dream life? It is what it is. It's what I have now. I have time freedom. I can do what I want when I want. I'm my own boss. I can hang out with my kid when I want to. I can hang out with my husband when I want to. We can go traveling whenever we want to. Like, we can do whatever we want. Like, I can donate whatever I want to whomever I want, whenever I want. Like, it's insane. And if you have that kind of time freedom, think about the amount of good that you can do. If you have that kind of financial freedom, think about the amount of good that you can do. If you have health freedom, right? I think about that. Like, if you're sick and tired, you're not doing anything for anybody. You're just going to sit on your couch. Let's get you healthy. Let's get you moving. Let's get you remobilized. And then let's get you to start seeing the potential for your future. I want you to cast that vision and just let's go for it, right? So you can find out more on patchedu.com. Again, patchedu.com. That is just our education website. When you're ready, because you should be ready now, when you're ready to join, contact the person that shared this with you. And I want you to get started right away. I want you to tell them, I want to become a brand partner. What does that look like? And I didn't even get into pricing. It's very inexpensive. I mean, we can go on and on. These can become very long, but just know that we have different ways for you to join and you're just gonna join. Okay. Hit the ground running. All right, you guys, take care.